Today I'm interviewing one of the most disciplined traders that I've met. What's shocking is the fact that he trades on one single time frame. He's a swing trader and he's been doing it for a really long time. Please listen to the story of Ara from Currency Pros and do not forget to leave us a like and a subscribe if you enjoyed our content. Hello Ara, and thank you so much for accepting our interview. First of all, I think that it would be great for you oh my God, I have some emotions.
It's okay.
To
I
make a
got
short
time today.
all right. Also, it's 12 a.m. in my country right now. Yeah. Can you make a short presentation about yourself?
Absolutely, yeah. So my name is Ara. I'm from Toronto, Canada. I'm 29 years old and I've been trading for about 5 or 6 years now in the Forex market specifically.
All right. And when did you start trading?
With prop firms, that's a good question. Probably like 2-ish years ago. So I've been mainly focused on trading my personal capital like since I started, because when I did start 5 or 6 years ago, firms weren't really that popular. I did get funded a 200K account with a larger firm that recently went out of business, unfortunately. And then I went back to focusing on just building my personal capital and consistently trading that. However, I found GFT, GoatFundedTrader, and it's been great so far. So it's kind of renewing my faith in prop firms.
Oh, that's great. So you're telling me that right now you're only trading with GoatFunded?
That's currently my only funded account. I am doing some challenges with other firms as well, but as of now, GFT is my only live funded account. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great. And I know that there will be some curious people. What's the percent that you obtained with GoatFunded lately, like with the payout?
Oh, with the payout, the percentage, what was it? About 4%, I think, was my payout. It's just a 50K account. I just wanted to try out GFT and see how they are. I've been extremely satisfied, so I plan on scaling up more, like purchasing more accounts, like in the six figures. The 50K was just basically a test, and the test was passed with flying colors. It's been wonderful so far. The payout experience was like better than the firm I was with in the past too. It's pretty much like having a live broker. It's incredible.
What characteristics do you like the most about GoatFunded?
The payout on demand is pretty crazy. Like I said, that kind of makes it like it's like having a brokerage account. Like it's insane. As soon as I generated profit that I was comfortable with on this 50K account, I requested the payout. And then literally within 3 hours, I think it was, I received it like directly. So it's crazy. The prop firm industry's come a long way, and I think GFT is a huge part of that. Other than that, the branding is really cool. I love that, and of course the conditions of trading, like both phase one and phase two, the conditions were really smooth, really clean, tight spreads, no slippage, nothing crazy like that. And so far, the live conditions have been just as good, which can't be said for a lot of other firms.
I'm glad that we're sharing the same opinion about Goat.
Yeah.
I do think the same. Really believe that Goat has a lot of potential, and a lot of people should discover it right now because they are always looking for a better prop firm. And I believe that Goat is the one because the CEOs are updating the conditions every day. They are also traders, so of course they are willing to do everything for the trader. This is why I find it awesome. Let's talk a little bit about your journey. Like, how did you start Forex trading? I think this is
Yeah, so
important.
that's a good question. So for about 10 years, I was actually a carpenter. So I was, yeah, for about 10 years. And it's 7 out of those 10 years, I had my own carpentry business. It was great. I was definitely in love with it, very passionate about it. Still am. I was looking for like a side hustle, basically. Like I wanted some supplementary income because construction is very physically taxing. So it's also very limited to a certain schedule. Like you can only work certain hours, right? So I wanted to fill up my free time with some sort of side hustle. And it was actually a friend of mine who was trading stocks at the time. He introduced me to what he was doing. And I mean, the rest is history. Like I got instantly hooked on it, lost a bunch of money to begin with, like most people do, but I saw the potential, and that led me down a very long but prosperous journey. So yeah, here we are today.
That's amazing. Are you still working for something else except like trading?
No, I'm full time. Like I have a trading community that I operate as well. I create YouTube content too, so that's kind of like a full time job in and of itself. But other than that, no, I'm a full time trader. I actually sold the construction business to one of the employees I had at the time, so I'm free and clear of that now. And I decided to do that just so I could focus 100% of my energy on trading and also growing, personal brand, business brand, etc., and creating content.
That's awesome. I'm following your channel on YouTube. Since when did you start?
The YouTube channel, off the top of my head, I don't know. It's been a little over a year. It's been really good traction so far. I shared so many things, obviously, for free on there. And I'm very transparent about my trading style and my strategy too. Like I really don't hold back. I just kind of put it all out there for free. So the main strategy that I trade is actually available on my YouTube channel. And those videos that I've posted regarding the strategies, they've gained a lot of traction, and that's really helped me grow my subscriber base on YouTube. And it's been helping a lot of people. So it's a win-win situation. It's really great.
Yeah, that's awesome. Would you mind sharing with us a little bit from your strategy right now in the interview? And maybe the viewers can continue later on your channel.
Sure. Yeah, I'd be happy to. So this is my trading view. As you can see, the charts are pretty bare. I don't use any indicators or anything crazy like that. Not that I have anything against them, but I always have better mental clarity when my charts are as clean as possible. So my strategy is actually pretty straightforward. For Forex pairs, which you can see on the right side here, I have all the majors and a lot of the minors as well. For Forex pairs, I trade on the 4-hour time frame. And it's basically like a swing trading style. Well, the term swing trading is kind of misleading because sometimes these trades play out in like a day or two, but I am open to holding them for like a week or maybe more sometimes. But I do like to enter on the 4-hour time frame. And yeah, the strategy overall is pretty straightforward. I can sum it up in basically one sentence. I look for a liquidity grab, so a false move, a run on liquidity, and then a break of structure, leaving behind either an imbalance or an order block or something along the lines of that. And then once that occurs, I drag and drop the Fibonacci tool, and that allows me to identify either premium or discount pricing, and I enter either long or short from there. So right now, I'm actually currently in this trade on USD/JPY on the 4-hour time frame. And this pretty much exemplifies like the exact thing I was just talking about. We see a liquidity grab to the downside. I can call it a liquidity grab because it was clearly a false move, because directly afterwards we broke very impulsively to the upside, creating that break of structure, which I have labeled out right here. And during that move, price left behind a massive gap here, which I call imbalance, as many as others do. And there's an order block here as well, which is that big bearish candle prior to that bullish move to the upside. And so once that model presents itself, I look for, the imbalance, the order block, and then I drag the Fibonacci tool from swing low to swing high. And that allows me to identify the discounted pricing that I'd like to get involved with. So it's really as straightforward as that. And although there's 2 levels on my Fib tool right here, I pretty much only enter trades from the 71% retracement level. And that gives me a consistent risk reward of 2.45 R every single time, because I place my stop loss directly at the low and my take profit directly at the high, or vice versa if I'm selling, of course. So that's pretty much it. I mean, this is the only trade I'm currently in. I could also share a trade that I took, when was this? Last week, I think it was, a little over a week ago, near the end of October on Euro USD. Pretty much the same thing here. Very straightforward. So break of structure to the downside, right? And that prompted me to identify, the current range that we're trading within. So from this swing high to this swing low would be the bearish range that I was looking at. And within that range, in the upper side of that range, the premium pricing, we see a large imbalance here, as well as an order block right up here. We purged liquidity to the left right here. Of course, at the time that would have looked like a break of structure, but the fact that we broke in the opposing direction means that it was just a liquidity grab, right? So that prompts me to look for selling opportunities. So again, drag the Fib tool from swing high to swing low, enter at the 71. In this particular case, there was quite a bit of drawdown. It looks like price wanted to tap into that order block candle right up here, and then it absolutely melted to my take profit. And the cool thing about, targeting just the swing low of the current range is that even if my bias is wrong, for example, sometimes I still profit. So for this case, I was anticipating a downtrend, but it turns out my bias was wrong and we reversed back to the upside. But because my take profit is so modest and I'm only targeting the swing low here, instead of, for example, targeting, the imbalance down here or an opposing order block or something like that, it allows me to take profit even if the trend isn't going to continue. So in this case, there's obviously a liquidity grab and price very impulsively took off to the upside. So if I had a much lower target, I either would have been taken out at break even or maybe a full loss or something like that. But in this case, I was able to take full take profit. So that was cool. And that's why I like this consistent system of placing the stop loss at the high or the low and the take profit at the high or the low of the current range that I'm trading within. So I may have said a lot of words there, but overall, the strategy is extremely simplistic. It's just on one time frame. Occasionally, I'll check the daily time frame just to have some extra confluence to my bias. But for the most part, like 90% of my trading and analyzing is being done on the 4-hour time frame. using these simple concepts that I just talked about.
Oh, this was pretty clear. Do you take partials as well, or you just let the trade run?
I've experimented a lot in the past with taking partials and moving my stop loss to break even and all that stuff. And over the years, for me personally, at least, this isn't financial advice, obviously, but for me personally, I find that my results are best when I literally just set the trade and forget about it. So it either hits the stop loss or hits the take profit. I'm a firm believer in if I was willing to enter the trade and put that capital up for risk in the first place, then I should be okay with either outcome. So, I predetermine my risk before every trade, right? So, for example, 1% risk or 2% risk. If I predetermine that, then there's no reason that I should go against what I initially thought, right? Like I'm very confident in my trading strategy. So I'm willing to accept that risk, which means I should be willing to hold that risk throughout the duration of the trade. So I don't move my stop loss to break even. I don't take partials unless it's like very specific circumstances. Like, for example, if it's a Friday afternoon and I don't want to hold the trade over the weekend, then I'll certainly, manually intervene. But for the most part, it's set it and forget it. Just let it go.
I see. Well, I can tell that you're a really patient person, and actually, you're the first swing trader that I interviewed.
Really?
I'm a scalper as well, and everybody else was a scalper.
Interesting.
They were all scalpers. So it's really interesting for me to talk to a person that has another approach. So I think that we can be done with the chart.
Okay.
How does a trading day looks like for you? Because I'm pretty sure that it's different than mine, since you mentioned the swing trader.
That's a good question because swing trading really doesn't take too much time. And so although I have the luxury of being a full-time trader, I actually spend very little time on the charts. So I even say this in my YouTube video with the strategy as well. Like, this is the perfect strategy for people who work a 9-to-5 job or have a busy family schedule or something along the lines of that. Because realistically, you only need like 15 minutes to 30 minutes a day to monitor these kinds of things. Because, like I said previously, the trades can sometimes take like 3 to 5 days to play out. So you're not entering too many trades. I maybe enter like 1 or 2 trades per week. So it really doesn't require much. I do spend a lot of time in my office and on my computer for content creation. But in terms of trading, it's really, for the most part, passive. Now, I do day trading as well. I started out with day trading, and I have a separate portfolio to day trade the NASDAQ. But in terms of Forex, I only swing trade that. And that's my main focus. The NASDAQ day trading is fairly new. But I'd also like to mention too, like, over the course of the 5 or 6 years that I've been trading, I only really transitioned fully to swing trading this year. So it was a switch that I consciously wanted to make just for lifestyle reasons. I could be more present in my family life and focus on other goals in life as well. So I didn't want to be on the charts too much. So I used to be day trading. I wouldn't say scalping, but definitely day trading on the lower time frames. And it was just taking up too much of my time. So after I made that transition to swing trading, I noticed my stress levels decreased significantly. I've been more present in my day-to-day life outside of trading. And for me, it's really good for longevity and future plans that I have, like for traveling especially. It's really easy to swing trade while you're traveling. So for a lot of different lifestyle reasons, it's been a really good transition for me.
What piece of advice would you give to somebody that scalps and wants to switch to swing trading?
Well, the thing is, like, you got to figure out what works for you, because for some people, scalping or day trading, like, it really resonates with them. Like, some people have a higher stress level associated with that, and others have complete clarity when they're doing things like that. So you really have to like dig deep in yourself and think about what works for you. So for example, I was already profitable when I was intraday trading. The only reason I made the switch is because I was thinking, potentially years into my future, like in my own personal life, and envisioning what I want to have for myself, and thinking like, okay, well, while I'm traveling, I don't want to be like thinking about trades all day and like, this and that. So for my own personal life, it made sense. But for anybody else listening to this, like, you got to make that choice for yourself. It really depends on your lifestyle. If you're okay with spending a little extra time on the computer, then definitely take advantage of day trading, because you can progress your journey a lot faster. Swing trading requires a lot of patience. I don't think swing trading is going to be easy for beginners because of that patience, right? So unless you have other sources of income, which you should, and other endeavors in life that occupy your time, I think swing trading would be pretty difficult.
Do you place more trades in a day, or how does this process go for you? Because I'm curious, like, how long did it take for you to pass the challenge with GoatFundedTrader? Because you mentioned the fact that a trade can last for days?
Yeah, good question. So if I remember correctly, I think I checked this recently. Each phase of the GFT account that I had was 3 weeks. So 3 weeks
Mhm.
for phase one, 3 weeks for phase two, if I remember correctly. Typically, the way my process goes is on like a Sunday or a Monday, I'll be scanning through my watch list, seeing what might be setting up for me, and then I'll set limit orders. Typically, I'd say anywhere from 1 to 3 per week. They don't always get triggered, they don't always work out, but typically 1 to 3 trades per week. And like I said before, too, these trades can last anywhere from a day to 3 days to 5 days, sometimes 7 days. And that's why it's hard to call it swing trading, because sometimes it's over within a day, right? It depends on the volume and, if there's a major news event or something like that. But yeah, with the GFT account, it was 3 weeks per phase. And, now that most firms don't have time limits, there's really no stress about it. Like I could have passed this challenge even if there was time limits, but the fact that there isn't limitations anymore, it makes it like truly stress free. Like you can take your time with it.
Yeah, I can imagine that it's way better for you, especially for swing trading.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
you also mentioned that you only trade on one single time frame and you barely watch the daily time frame. Why is that? Did you watch multiple time frames in the past? How did you change?
In the
And why?
past, yeah, when I would do like intraday trading, it would be top-down analysis. Like I'd start on the daily, go to the 4 hour, maybe the 1 hour, down to the 15 minute, sometimes down to the 5 minute. But the 4 hour is kind of like the perfect balance between everything for me, at least. And like I said, sometimes I'll go to the daily time frame if, for example, a trend has been extended for so long and I can't see anything to the left to gauge where we are. Then I'll go up a time frame to see the bigger, macro picture of things. But overall, the 4 hour time frame provides me with pretty much everything I need. Like it's my higher time frame and my execution time frame. So I just really don't need to do anything else. Like if I really want added confirmation, or if I want to, for example, scale into a position, then I'll go down to the 15-minute time frame. I find that the 4 hour and the 15-minute pair well together. But
Mhm.
overall, I'm more than comfortable just sticking with the 4 hour time frame.
That's really interesting to hear. Like that's another approach. Then
Yeah, it's not typical. I know it's definitely not typical, but I mean, I wouldn't recommend sticking to one time frame if it was a lower time frame, like a 15-minute or 30-minute, for example. I think that would be really difficult. I think the win rate would suffer. But being on the 4 hour time frame, like that is a higher time frame. And when I actually made the switch, my win rate went up by like 15 to 20%. I've noticed that in my journaling, my win rate went up. My risk reward has been more consistent. It's been beneficial all across the board. So, and I just want to clarify, it might not work for everybody that way. Again, it depends on your lifestyle and your level of patience and stuff like that. And I'm constantly working on patience as well. Like I'm not perfect with it. We all have our slip ups, right? Like I like to think I am a pretty patient person. Maybe being a father has helped with that. I have a 10-year-old son. So I have to be quite patient with him at times. But honestly, when you've been trading for long enough, I think you just kind of become numb to things. Like we've all been through losses, we've all had wins. But over time, you got to realize like you can't get upset about losses and you can't get excited about wins. Like you just have to be neutral, because that's how you make the best decisions in your trading career. If you get too excited and you're too emotional about everything, then your decision making skills will suffer. So I think I try my best to be stoic when I'm in trader mode, because it helps me make better decisions. And if I am feeling emotional for whatever reason, if I'm having a bad day, if I didn't get enough sleep the previous night, or whatever the case may be in my personal life, then maybe I'll just decide to stay away from the charts that day.
I see that's a great piece of advice for the people that are watching.
Yeah, I think
Can
so.
you tell us more about maybe what was the best moment in trading for you and what was the worst one, and what caused both of them?
That's a great question. Let's see. Honestly, I like my risk management has always been very consistent. So I don't have like necessarily like a huge win to talk about. Like it's been just a steady progression. Like I'm obviously like building my capital over time, but it's just been a steady progression. So there's no like big home run that I'm like bragging about or something. Like it's a steady progression.
That's
However,
great to hear.
especially early on in my trading career, I definitely didn't have as much risk management skills, obviously, or much knowledge of risk management. So I would take a lot of losses, or be in more of like a gambler's mindset, like, not trading with a stop loss, over leveraging, over trading, those kinds of things, right? So there was definitely some big losses then, but that was also near the beginning of my trading journey. So like those losses were big then, but they wouldn't seem big now. But yeah, honestly, I try and keep things as neutral as possible, because I'm not aiming for home runs. I'm aiming for consistency, because this is something I take very seriously. It's my career. So it's something I want to do long term, which means I can't be risking 20 or 30% on a trade just to have like a big home run trade. And, equally with that being said, I can't be taking a huge loss like that either, like a 30, 40, 50% loss, because that's not consistent, right? So yeah, it's kind of hard to answer that question actually.
No, it's great. It's a great answer. It means that you're consistent with what you're doing. However, didn't you blow accounts in the past at all? Didn't you blow challenges? I'm curious
I've
about.
definitely blown some challenges, and yeah, when I first started trading, definitely I would keep funding my brokerage account. Like I think I started with like $1,000 or something, and then later on I'd put in 5,000. Like I was basically funding my trading journey with my earned income from my construction endeavors. So I definitely blew a lot of accounts back then, and I've definitely failed some challenges too. Like everybody has losing streaks sometimes, right? But it's very well managed, I would say, because like I said, I'm not taking like huge losses. So if I have a losing streak, obviously I'm not going to pass a challenge, but it's, for the most part, it's pretty consistent.
I see. I see. Okay. Okay. And yeah, I can tell that you're great with, you're a disciplined trader, you're a consistent trader, you're very calm. Like, definitely what you're doing is great for you and it can help a lot of traders that are watching right now. Do you have can you share an honest opinion about GoatFundedTrader for the ones that want to try it?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. Honestly, after the recent, uh, like this year has been tough for prop firms. Let's just say that, right? I think everybody knows that it's been a tough time for prop firms. There's a lot of firms popping up every day now, and it's kind of hard to weed out the good from the bad. I gave GFT a chance, and it's been proven in so many ways that it's just fantastic. And they're clearly here for the long term. Like there's a long term vision for it. So it's not just like going to be a rug pull kind of thing. Like, so I have nothing but good things to say about it. Like the conditions have been great. The support has been great. If you ever need something from the support team on the website or anything like that, everybody's very responsive. I think the branding and marketing is very genuine. And yeah, like I said, the trading conditions have been great. The payout was absurd. Like I couldn't believe how fast it happened. Like within 3 hours, I think they actually beat like my broker's time for when I request withdrawals, which is crazy. So yeah, it's been nothing but good. I recommend GFT to the people that I work with as well, like my clients that I mentor, and even publicly on my social media too. Like if somebody asks me what firm I recommend, I always recommend GFT because it's just full transparency. Like they've been incredible. So nothing but good things to say about them.
Thank you so much for this. I really appreciate your honest opinion. As a final word, do you have some piece of advice for the traders that aren't funded yet and want to be funded, but right now they are just failing challenges, they are losing money? Like, what would you say?
That's a tough spot to be in. I think the number one piece of advice would be to not put having a funded account on. It's not going to, it can certainly change your life, but it's not like the end all be all. You don't have to put prop firms up on a pedestal. I think they're a wonderful opportunity, but I think that having other sources of income is going to make your trading career so much easier. If you're relying on trading as your number one source of income and you're relying on it to, change your life and change your family's life and all of that, you're putting such a tremendous amount of stress on yourself and you're asking so much from the market. So I think that people, especially beginners, need to really embrace their 9 to 5 jobs and not be so eager to quit. Like just take advantage of the current situation while you're learning the skill. And then once you have that skill nailed down, then you can do anything with it. You can obtain prop firm funding relatively stress free without failing too many times. You can obtain private capital, grow your own capital. Like there's so many options once you actually master the skill. So just to sum it up, like don't put prop firms on a pedestal. Take your time with them. Once you learn that skill, you can pass them easily and consistently. And also just have income on the side. Like embrace your 9 to 5 job and don't rush the process.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for this. Yeah, that was an amazing piece of advice. I believe that especially having a 9 to 5 would be really helpful. Even now, when I'm trading, I can tell that I'm also having other sources of income because they make me feel comfortable. In this way,
Exactly.
I can be comfortable with my trading. I don't get impatient. I don't care about the money that I'm losing. I don't care if I blow accounts. I'm still fine. I don't attach to that account. And I believe that this is like the best way to trade.
Exactly. You make better trading decisions when you're not reliant on the outcome of that trade. Like if you're trying to force success, then the market's gonna humble you so bad.
Yeah.
Like you need to be stress free so you can actually make proper decisions and be stoic, like we were talking about before. Like if you're too emotional, which money is very emotional, obviously, right? So if you're
For
too
sure.
emotional about your trading, then you're not going to make proper informed decisions, and you're not going to be disciplined.
By the way, are you thinking about profits and money when you're trading, or are you just simply thinking in pips or in percentage?
I'm literally just focused, like the when I shared my screen with you and we were going over the trades, like I'm literally just focused on the logic behind those trades. I'm not thinking about the risk reward, even is completely out of my mind because it's consistent 2.45 R every single time. So all of those numbers are out of my mind. I obviously look back on my performance on a monthly basis in my journaling, but I'm really not concerned with the money. I know that, based on my account size, I'm kind of expecting a certain amount of return every month, but it's not make or break for me. So I'm really just focused on the process and the logic behind the trades. I like to think about trading as logically as I possibly can. So I'm focused on the trade that I'm currently in, and if it's still valid or not, and what I'm expecting to happen next within that trade. So yeah, the numbers are definitely out of my mind.
All right. I know that I said that it's going to be the last question, like the piece of advice, but I kind of want to ask you more things now that you mentioned journaling. How do you?
I used to use Notion, like I used to do things more manually, but as we all know, there's a lot of online services right now, and I'm a big advocate for just signing up for one of the automated journaling
Mhm.
services because I mean, obviously it depends on the individual's personality, but I think that manually journaling is very hard to do consistently. It's
Yeah.
easy to do when you're winning, but if you're having a tough time trading, it's very difficult to still show up and still do those manual for your trading details, right? So I think that having an automated online software do it for you, there's literally no excuse. Like you just connect to your trading account and it shows you everything for you. And you can go back on a monthly basis or a quarterly basis or even an annual basis and see pages of analytics that you wouldn't have even thought of manually journaling on your own. So it's just like, it's truly a game changer. And I think it can really drastically alter the path of one's trading career. Like I think it's very powerful stuff. So that's how I journal. I just signed up for an online automated journal, plugged in my trading accounts, and it's all good.
How often do you check these automated trading journals?
Well, typically, I'd say 2 or 3 times a month. I mean, for the most part, I'm just, like, locked into my MetaTrader, and I'm looking at my history there, but I definitely review things, like, on a, I'd say, like, a biweekly basis pretty much.
Okay.
Make sure I'm doing everything that I should be doing, and I'm not veering from my plan. Yeah, I
You
am,
told
yeah.
the YouTube community that you started like presenting your activity online and you spend a lot of time doing videos and materials. Like, can you tell me a little bit about that as well?
Yeah, so the sign that you see behind me, Currency Pros, that's the name of the mentorship community that I created because I'm trying to create as many pros as I can with trading currency, right? So we've got a quick growing community right now. We've got about 800 members in the community. Big subscriber base on YouTube, which I'm very grateful for. Currency Pros on Instagram as well has about 50,000 followers at the current time. So yeah, everything is going good. I've helped a lot of people for free. But obviously, I value my time greatly. So if I'm spending a lot of time with a person, it's not free. We should all value our time and get paid for our experience and knowledge. I'm a firm believer in that. I have a passion for sharing information. And when I think back to when I started trading, I definitely bought some courses when I first started trading. But overall, back then, information was very scattered. It was very hard to have like a concise, I don't know. I mean, basically, there wasn't any like community, like mentorship communities really back then. It was just like random courses here and there and a bunch of scattered information on YouTube. So when I think back to it, was a very pieced together journey. And I don't think that that's a good thing. I feel like if I had the proper education back then, I could have really streamlined not streamlined, but expedited the success of my trading journey. I probably could have saved myself a good year or two struggling if I had the proper education to begin with. So the reason I started teaching and created Currency Pros to begin with is because I wanted that one concise place where people can come and learn everything they need to. Obviously, some resonate with it, some don't. We all resonate with different people and different ways of learning, but I wanted that one home where people could come and feel that sense of community and also get all the information that they need with a start to finish, step by step trading plan and strategy that they can take and immediately start implementing in the market. So that's why I started Currency Pros, and it's my baby. It's my little passion project, and I absolutely love it.
I feel like that's really valuable what you're offering right now. Yeah, as you mentioned in the past, because I started 5 years ago, I started to watch random YouTube videos. I didn't know who to follow, what exactly to follow on charts. I was just switching strategies, and this wasn't good enough because I didn't have a person to follow. I didn't have an example. So it's great that you're putting yourself out there and explaining to everyone that wants to go and follow your path. So
Yeah,
yeah,
so
that's
we had a pretty similar journey then, huh?
yeah, a similar journey, but
For about the
maybe.
same time.
Sorry, can you repeat?
We've been trading for approximately the same time too.
Yes, but I wasn't so focused in the first years. I was in university and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I
Mm,
didn't give a lot of time. I
yeah,
started to be more passionate about it maybe after 2 years of learning.
yeah, I
So
see.
it's a little bit different.
Thank you for everybody who's watching. I hope I provided some insight on my trading career that presents some value for you all. So I hope you all gain something from this. And yeah, thanks for watching.